Sanjay Tanjaji dan Sonja Tobishirdo Tombi Chuningo Samba Noro.
We should think that on behalf of attaining the complete enlightenment, for the sake of sentient beings, I should listen to the teaching.
Something Gambi Gapso, Kazakuji Jesu, to that Tundu Gambu Yasun, Tomo, Range us on her Gamno, Khenchen Appey Rinpoche. Chaza Tomo Pache, Gamang Ata Gamjimari, Tantundun She, Chong Mong Gam.
While undertaking the practice of perfection of concentration, it is recommended in the instruction that we should first undertake it for brief sort of short period in the beginning, for example, for just 5 minutes. It is because that if we undertake it for a longer period from the beginning, this may, cause the practitioners to feel sort of irritated, with such practice. And later on we can extend the length of the time of the practice.
Gamdu Tombo Namto Nguzing Yams, Namto Momu Chegi or Tongi or is Teo Nyamji. To Jan Chegret and Yamaha.
And while undertaking such practice, as taught in the Triple Vision teaching, there will be 5 kinds of meditational sort of experiences arising out of it. And first one is identifying the experience of identifying the discursive mind or thoughts.
Nimbal Gamdu du Santo Seneshe, Yun Namto Tornote, Namto Nasu Yams.
And then further on, the second one is meditational experience of relaxing the discursive mind or conceptual thoughts.
Sumbale tene yani inchen yon namto she, ele namto toncha ginyam, namto kale toncha.
And further on, while constantly engaging in the practice of it, then there will be a third sort of experience, which is known as while undertaking and while abiding in the one-pointedness towards the object for quite a longer time. Furthermore, quite a longer time, there will be a arising of the concepts or the arising of concepts, sudden arising of concepts. That is the third experience. And fourth one is known as the meditational experience of diligence, I think. That means that if the practitioners put effort in in blocking off the concepts or the concepts, he will be able to rest with the effort, experiential effort. We will be able to rest our mind one-pointedly on the focus.
Nabandu mizibinyam se basur majemba on sem neba. The kazon sem nada gui
And the fifth one is that further, undertaking the practice, one will be able to rest on the focus one-pointedly without any efforts. That this fifth one is similar, has a similar sort of significance with the eighth and ninth method of mind abiding. Now Rinpoche is going to give discourses on the perfection of wisdom. The definition of the wisdom refers to knowledge or superior knowledge which realizes the ultimate reality.
The samche la sobe simba ina tesin sonja tobi yurtu hirab chaba ina hirab je paru dishma.
If this knowledge is associated with the enlightenment thought and so on, then it will become the cause to a cause to attain the complete enlightenment, and is known as the perfection of wisdom as well.
Hirag medan shode maripa mumba lasuba.
And the opposing factor of it is our own what you call the ignorance, and so on.
Hira maybe never Bena then come yeten be bena Hira ge chimbo tong mena jan tong chane lo jong jian Rinpoche ge misi non jasa konsam ji lo jong tu tong ge.
The faults of not possessing the wisdom, for example, even in our worldling, even in our human world, the people who realize or see the benefit of possessing knowledge, and the faults of not possessing the knowledge, they put exert to gain the knowledge. Because if someone lack the knowledge of doing any kinds of work, without the knowledge, we cannot perform the work properly. Without performing the job or the professional job properly, there will be no accomplishment of the objective, or there will be no result. Even in the worldling, it is the case like that. So, whereas in the spirituality, since we don't have the sort of familiarization or the habituation in the spirituality, there is no way of doing or performing it properly without gaining first the knowledge.
Chebadu kherab zo dame to bi kherab dame to bi kherab mena de dan zen do nyam ba bon nyambo yanda yamale ta ke yanda me ba indu ko bon to ge yamale tarba to mudo sonje mudo.
Particularly without the perfection of wisdom or superior knowledge, without it, there is no other way. There is no other mean to relinquish our negative emotions, and there is no other mean to gain the complete enlightenment, and to overcome the cyclic existence.
Then tarba toba galanga de chujumse to some gang sumri te uri machin rogu yari. Chaza chuli den lo jong se gu yari. Lozong che gu suya de ja chenpo lozong ma jian de giri ja che chao nan chen yong shi yong zhang laban song jie song song ba li tu ba niu na wo chen xing lu mo na wo chen xing lu su.
So as to traverse or as to attain the freedom from the negative emotions and sufferings, we need to traverse on the path based on the morality, as well based on the morality, and the path includes hearing, studying, contemplating, and the familiarizing in the understanding, theoretical understanding, convinced sort of theoretical understanding, and the followers should at least engage in some extent of study, some extent of studying the doctrine. It is not necessary to study extensively or necessary to study for very, very long sort of years, because one of the Indian scholar known as the Sanjay Samwa, he said that either the both the less study and the extreme study, no study and the extreme study, both are hindrance for the practitioners.
Songja de pontu pensum tsubari, de jen pongwa de herab shigiyori, yanden teso jimbala sufi tabu jubgugiyori. Di tab no herab ningala, herab tab jubgugiyori, tab teso herab jubgugiyori.
As we know that the complete stage of complete Buddhahood consists of two qualities, consists of two sort of qualities, the complete realization and complete abandonment. So the complete abandonment has to be achieved. Complete abandonment has to be achieved through the superior knowledge, and the complete realization, or the complete which is endowed with many kinds of sort of qualities. So those qualities have to be have to be achieved through the methods parts of practice, and the method parts of practice of the higher trainees or higher sort of training Mahayana practices, it has to be associated with the superior knowledge, and superior knowledge as well has to be associated with the method part of practice.
Chabado parudu shima chugode shima yaayari. Tege palam le pashin ngaje ying palam chabade jamso chimbi chudon palong easy chudabi chabade yasum.
Particularly, among the practice of six perfections, the latter perfections are more superior, more sort of advanced, more superior. We can say it quality, more superior sort of quality, or more superior path. In another word, more advanced sort of quality or path. The difference between them in the text, difference between them is like the water of the ocean. The latter are like the water of the ocean, and the earlier ones are like the water in the the trace of the animal palang, the trace of the water in the trace of the feet of the oxes and cows.
Then, just head up the Jema into Baji Juno or Huri. Yena Sonja Tobole, head up Chombe Jimari, Tap don't Cheva, Ninka, Tat Tidu go.
That is why, since the perfection of wisdom is the most advanced training, or is the most superior, what you call superior path. We need to put more exert in obtaining it. By the way, it is not advisable to engage ourselves only in the practice of knowledge, practice of knowledge. It must be associated with the method parts of practice as well.
Landong Jode Parodushimanagare Sumber Hiwale, Chavado Sandende, Landong Mizar Jode Mundu Tuba in somebody, Tuba Mombushigo.
And Acharya Shantideva, Arya Shantideva said that the causes of the causes of the superior knowledge, there are many. All the five, the earlier perfections, particularly the superior concentration, and also studying or Mangdutöba, the followers who have studied, who have heard and studied extensively the doctrine. That is also a cause of instilling the superior knowledge.
No, Yamgale, no, Samsuru, Sam Jumadu, Jumaru Yeme Padu, Sumieri. Yerodu Jumata Gombier. Yenayo, Tomba ni de Kokavo, Gamdu Kosa, Nosa Mombo Yankenjiri. Yigi Tuneo, Hegayamari, Konga Tony, Kormombo, Hegman, Sumba. Tardo Pento Wachile, Panagava Dudu, Nagava Dunke, the Gavare Sansong, Nam in Kenji. Medemba Jumatavu Yensamna Pento Yore Sumba.
Which points out from the commentary of Departing from the Four Attachment composed by Korampasanam Singhe, that although there are several orders of undertaking the practice of perfection of wisdom, in order to familiarize the practitioners in the realization or the understanding of the selflessness, there are several sort of orders or sequences to undertake it. Here, to undertake it, here he has written here in accordance with our own the Sakya tradition during the sitting session or the meditation session. It has to be undertaken through through first establishing all the appearances as mind, and then establishing the mind as an illusion, and then establishing the illusion as a characterlessness. And since this topic, the content, this emptiness, the selflessness or the emptiness, is very, very profound and cannot be expressed properly, cannot be expressed verbally expressed properly, accurately accurately is better, cannot be expressed accurately, and it is so so difficult to know it. He has not given the Karmapa has not given detailed sort of explanation on this. Anyhow, while in the while undertaking the sitting practice, one should undertake as shown the sequence of doing it as shown in the commentary, and while in the off session, and the most important for the beginners is not to feel so much attachment towards one ounce deeds. The deeds, virtuous deeds, should not attach towards the deeds, should not attach towards oneself that this is really a virtue deed. I am the performer. One should not attach.
Tombani here the Nyanka Yori, Mr. Bachil, Tombani Richevarina, Konga Ye, Paramason, and Yamba Kachanam Rusa, Muba Mazia, Tony Muba Mazina, Eva Chamber Sogila, the Massachusetts Matuki Chula Muba Manke, Tichena. You Kakele, Tombani, Renducele, Jundeo Mason, be Cheta, and that is a saving Yanka Yori.
Rinpoche says that giving discourses on selflessness, emptiness is possess severe disadvantage. If there is a very new follower among us who who mistakenly understand the meaning of emptiness as nothingness, and generates a thought. There is no existence of the karma and deeds, and there is nothing. Some may generate such a mistaken sort of understanding, mistaken sort of thought, while receiving the discourses on this topic. This may this will cause the followers to give up, totally give up the spiritual sort of actions and so on. And as with regard to the the preacher, the teacher who gives discourses on it, he has to initially give the teachings on the preliminary sort of practices, such as discourses on the karma, the deeds and the effects, the causes and effects. Otherwise, if the teacher gives directly to the new disciples, new followers, concerning about the emptiness, he will the teacher have a downfall, a root downfall, or one of the root downfall, which will lead him or her to the hell ring. There are actually two ways of familiarizing in this wisdom, this knowledge. One for the followers who haven't studied much, and other for the the opposite followers who have studied quite well, which will be giving the discourses with mixing both together.
Uchi the Domini Gamsur, Domini the Domini Gisardu Gamba, Rimji Gamba Ni, Rimji Leon, Noa Samsu Shana Gamsur, Majana Gamsur. Mombo Yasare, Tino and Noa Samsu Majabi Gamsur.
There are so many ways of undertaking the practice of wisdom, which is of course to familiarize ourselves in that understanding of the selflessness. There are so many ways. One way is to there is a way to familiarize in this wisdom through familiarizing in the both of the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena simultaneously. And another way is to familiarize in the selflessness in a sequence in a sequence way. That is to familiarize first in the selflessness of person and then in the selflessness of phenomena.
Demba ni sangin yabaji heya ke chambrehi. Demba ni sedu ji zemba ji demba seyali. Kendop sangin ngechu log yurdu chuba kongari log yurdun cheba konga. Tan tambatsana ngechu log yulle garson. Riba la sobechena alam chetunge. Then it goes to Tongan, they're Papa non Zija. In order to do it, it is very important to know the true truths. So true truths. So the relative truth, they are relative truths and conventional or relative truth and ultimate or absolute truth. The relative truth refers to all the the objects and subjective minds of the ordinary beings. Refers to the relative truth is known in the higher in the philosophy as a fallible as a fallible phenomena, and on the other hand, the conventional or the absolute ultimate truth refers to the infallible sort of reality, infallible reality, fallible sort of nature and infallible nature. Relative truth refers to the fallible nature, and the first one, whatever objects of our consciousness, all kinds of consciousness, and the subjective mind, our consciousness, ordinary consciousness, they are fallible nature. And the infallible nature is the real or ultimate reality of them. That we can realize not directly, but through the reasonings. Through the reasonings we can understand, or we can know the simulated ultimate reality through the reasonings. This infallible, the actual infallible reality of the phenomena is only seen or realized directly by the Aryas in the meditative equipoise. Chodamja tomba ni insa jute naka tamche sungya mari. Kenzop du tamche ye ori tan tambana tomba ni sungya jeza. Kenzop du tamche ye tan tambana me sungya.
So when the teaching, the doctrine says that all phenomena are emptiness, that doesn't mean to all the all the time. That doesn't refer to that doesn't refer to all time. I think all time, all stages. That doesn't refer to all stages. That refers only to the ultimate sort of level. From the perspective of ultimate reality, all phenomena are emptiness. Because from the perspective of the worldlings, or from the perspective of the relative truth, all the phenomena exist. All the compounded phenomena exist. So the person, when we talk about the selflessness of person generally would say in the doctrine refers not only to oneself, but also to oneself, other, like in our relative, our conventional, in our conventional sort of perspective, we call ourselves as a I, and others as the other as a other, and then for the third person we call him or her, the first person, second person, third person, as we have in our grammar. These are from the perspective of relative truth, from the perspective of worldling, mind. And the phenomena refers to the form, the houses, tables, clothes, and the phenomena which are not beings or persons or beings.
Chuji dasana or gonza dasana senchen demba. Chuji dasana chu demba se.
Self or person. The earlier one, the earliest are the definition or the significance of the person and phenomena. Now the second one, self of person and self of phenomena. Self of person refers to the truly existent person, and self of phenomena refers to the truly existent the phenomena.
Gonza dame sana gonza meba.
And then the selflessness of person refers to the inherent selflessness of person refers to the emptiness or naturalness of the person. Emptiness of person or naturalness of person. Whereas the selflessness of phenomena refers to the possess the same sort of significance, naturalness of phenomena or emptiness of phenomena.
Gonza sanga de come true then nga sanga ji zungu yare. Just a come true sanga de bana. Then Luboga Chanda, Rubanda with the Sai comes again. Then Josanda Chu come, Tredel May comes, Ul Lunga come. Then Nabunda will confond the solar, Nangi come, Sam the number keep comes on you.
With regard to the person, to know the person, to know the real nature of person, it is important to know the relative nature of person. The person naturally in the worldlings refer to the person refer to the six spheres, six spheres of our aggregates, our body. Our aggregates is better. Our aggregates, the sphere of earth, sphere or constituent sphere or constituent of earth, which is regarded to our, the flesh, bones, and the physical sort of form, which has a hardness, and the sphere of water refers to our our blood, and the our urine, blood, and the liquid parts of our our body, and the spheres or constituent of fire refers to the warmness within our body, and the spheres of air refers to the air which runs in the nerves, as well as the breath. They are known as and the sphere of the space refers to the hall, the empty hall of our body. For example, the empty hall of our nose and the ears, and so on. And the spheres of the consciousness refers to our consciousness. So to those, the composition of those, 6 spheres of the constituents of our aggregates, person is imputed. So person, which we see as a truly existent person, the person which we see from our ordinary perception as existent, that is naturally or ignorantly imputed on these spheres.
Tene kam truk nona pena sai kami bi so da re do mare. So do da ni jigmen du. Da sang di jibu go ger ngaro jibu yin sang ger. Da ba go ger, da ba de ba yin sang ger. Ron chen ju go ger. Da sang de so su lu bola so ba le won zur che ge sang ger. De so de jigmen da chen yi ya mare. Mon ta ya. Tene sorere darere yanas tene sanche chil mombo chando yari tra tele mo yari.
And so in order to undertake or familiarize in the understanding of selflessness of person, first it is required to understand first we need to recognize, or we need to identify the person. Now to scrutinize or examine the person, the imputed person, from inwardly we should examine which of these the basis of imputing the person are person. First, to synchronize with the spheres of the earth. For example, one's own teeth or tooth, one tooth, one piece of tooth. If the one piece of tooth, which is of course a branch of spheres of earth, whether the truth is a person, truth is person or self or I. When we conceive our aggregates as I. Now we need to examine, scrutinize which of the aggregates is the I, as we ignorantly conceive. So if the piece of truth is I, then it has to possess the aspects of the self, which we would say conceive. So we naturally conceive self as a loneliness, self as a permanent, self as a opposite of dependent. What is a dependent? Not dependent. Independent. Yeah, self as an independent. So if the piece of truth is self, then the piece of truth must have these aspects of the self. So since the piece of truth doesn't have these aspects, we will know that this is the piece of truth, or the space of our earth is not identical to the self. And since there are many truths, many teeth, and there must be many self or many I within one person, within oneself. Likewise, all the other spheres, we can establish themselves as a selflessness.
Then I tend to some don't that never and do something to not to Gango, Katon, Hine Gamati to Hine Miba method Yache, Dame Mibase, Tito to number table, Dame Base, Dame in somebody to Yache.
Through establishing the selflessness of a person like these ways, and gaining the understanding, theoretical understanding, gaining the theoretical understanding of the selflessness of person. We should apply that understanding while we should apply that understanding and familiarize. We should train ourselves in familiarizing in that understanding with the practice of concentration, as explained yesterday. So after gaining some sort of extent of understanding of the selflessness of person, we should leaving away the blue flower or the statues of the Buddha, which is to instill the mere sort of concentration, and then then we can apply the understanding of selflessness of person with the sort of concentration,
Hine tendo gandu kala sondra segiyore. Pena lantong de nelu toba into mames dabo. Hine de sam tembo si denken to mame luyonda ore. Lume be mame dabo shona tani kala sondra se.
And on the basis of concentration, so it is instructed with instructions that the followers should train in the union of the concentration and the understanding or realization of the selflessness. So this we can understand. The union of these two can be understood from the example of the lamp, the butter lamp or lamp, any kind of lamp, especially the butter lamp. The lamp, butter lamp. So the superior insight is like the lamp itself, and the concentration is like the lamp without the movement caused by the wind.
Kaya sona hine sengat meowa miba tigito to dengue. Landon sangente tena shebase guyares sosorto. Shebase gure pena dame da hina jumsen mo sonoton. Shebase duatele. Landon sek resumbre. Sheba momo chene pena dame bata bitendo sem yaguna. Sem injobi chate. Hine remember the Lanhon Mare. Te yanda sona tramare, Lantong the years, but it's no no. So to be Lantong to Mayo Lantong's year, Shabasi Miji Ingo is Shabasing and the Lantong Jorata, Yona Jetobri. Mayo war, then a tombanita with ticketing to Yagoyate, Metopasti Yoyate. Landong Ngugito, Nyam Jisana, Nyam Yori, Song
Yori. Some Tibetan schools say, some schools say that while undertaking the practice of vipassana associated with the dhyana, it cannot be sort of union, because the dhyana refers to the unshakable, unshaking sort of aspect of unshaking aspect of that practice, and unshaking aspect of that practice, and the superior insight. Superior insight refers to the scrutinizing aspect of the meditation while undertaking the sitting practice of selflessness. So yes, so yeah. So one should, if this school emphasize that while undertaking the practice of selflessness, the practitioner should generate the scrutinizing sort of reasonings while familiarizing in the selflessness. Just placing one's understanding unshakably, without sort of resting in an unshaky state. That is only a dhyana, not a vipassana. Whereas other school interprets or explain that there are two kinds of superior knowledge, or the wisdom of selflessness. The first is the wisdom which individually sort of scrutinizes. That is done as a preliminary, just before resting one's mind on the selflessness, and it can be also done during the off session. It can be also we can familiarize ourselves in that, the individually scrutinizing the real nature of the thing. That can be familiarized in the off session, as well as before resting our mind on the selflessness non-conceptually. And the second one is to job or rest, is to place or rest in the understanding of in the ultimate reality or the selflessness, non-conceptually.
Yung kongsa damen kamdong chi tele pumbo nga xe gugudwa. Pumbo nga ye waras zuji pumbo la sopa. Zuji pumbo sana mi nama nasti lu umbo nga yurchen. Zuda terrorisa yur nga tema imbi tido juji ye sumbare.
Furthermore, there's another way of practicing the superior insight, the knowledge of selflessness. This has to be In order to do it, the practitioners should know the five aggregates. So the form aggregates up to the aggregates of consciousness. For example, the form aggregates refers to our own five form senses and the five objects and one another. One another, I don't know it in English. So there are 11 kinds of our form aggregates.
Mi nawa sanga de tege nges pa tongsa thari rin de ta sul semari de yurgu char. Di no le nom ki sibi nu ba ya. Tele wombo se.
The eye faculty, eye sense or eye faculty, eye sense or the physical sort of faculty, the physical faculty, five physical faculties, such as a faculty of eye, do not refer to what we can see. Those are the support of these faculties. Faculty or the senses, physical faculty or the senses refer to some kind of ability inside these the basis, these supports, which has the power to bring up, the power to draw out, the power to draw out the perceptions, the consciousnesses.
Sorwa sange de deva dungar de suri. Duhe sange de chuno temo mai bi cheshuri yavre denzen kenke samjung seyor.
And the aggregates of feeling refers to our own happy, unhappy, and the neutral feeling. And the aggregates of dushe means intention. Intention. Aggregates of intention refers to our mind, our mental state, which perceives the uncommon, which perceives the uncommon feature of each and every sort of kind of phenomena.
Duje le tsungden duje tsengi chi yara tena dachao tebala soba samchung gibju khegul se yara. Demen duje tsengi chi tena pena shenjin rabu, misi rabu, shou sangen rabu, du sangen rabu tesol song.
And the aggregates of aggregate of volition has two kinds. One is conditioned phenomena. Conditioned phenomena is aggregates of conditioned phenomena. Conditioned phenomena of volition. Conditioned phenomena has two kinds. One is conditioned phenomena, those which associates with the mind. This refers to our the positive sort of mental states, such as faith and so on, compassion and loving kindness and so on, and the kindness on, and also to the negative sort of emotions, such as anger, hatred, and so on. And the another sort of aggregates of volition or aggregates of conditioned phenomena, it is known as a non-associating aggregates of volition or non-associating aggregates of conditioned phenomena. This refers to the word, sentences, and the labels, and the times, and so on. The aggregates of consciousness refers to our perceptions.
Tati pumbo ngale tena da zengi yore, pumbo ngale da zen sanadi rong pumbo nga. Teru te pumbo te don da nimbo te yona ji yingu yore, yona kaka yingu yore. Ji yinane tata kuban mo ye. Digmere, tani digmere, pumbo mombo yore, da ji memba gung kegmare, taga no yen pumbo metapala so.
So coming to the point, naturally or ignorantly, we conceive the our aggregates as I or self. We conceive our aggregates as I or self. For our aggregates are I and self. From the perspective of that concept, the egoism. From the perspective of that concept, egoism. The I exist. The I exist. But when we scrutinize, scrutinize the real sort of nature, the real nature of I, real nature of person, real nature of self, whether scrutinizing that, whether it really does exist as conceived by egoism or not, then we will find that I does not exist. I doesn't exist ultimately, because when we scrutinize whether I is identical with with our the aggregates, we will find that it is not identical. They are not identical with the I, because our aggregates do not possess the features, different features. For example, like the loneliness, the independent, and so on. We don't find these features. These features these features in our aggregates.
Pumbo don kaka yin sela te rimeri. Ronge pumbo de nga yin samgi yare memba shologe komba nga yin shin de nga yin samgi yamane.
And then while scrutinizing whether the aggregates are identical with the self or I, we will not find them as identical. And then the further step to scrutinize, we scrutinize them as different or not. We will not find them as a different, because we would say naturally, from out of our egoism, we ignorantly or naturally, sentient beings naturally or ignorantly conceive only the aggregates, own aggregates as I, not the outer the houses or environments, any kinds of environments as I.
Just a ribe siena da singen di yamare, just a tanam do da meisen yo. Tanya du siena benna godon ge kung sul tene kombase dao yo. Daga no ye sosu pumbo tele tene da singen ji dobe zu yo tene yo.
That is why from the perspective of when it is when the I or self is scrutinized from a different sort of higher level of mind, not from the perspective of egoism, from the perspective of another higher level of sort of understanding or mind, then the self or I does not exist. That is why it is stated the meaning of non-existence, or meaning of selflessness, or meaning of non-existence of self, or the person should be known from the perspective of the ultimate, from the perspective of the ultimate level, not from the perspective of the relative level, because in relative, as we can understand from the example of houses, the house is sort of imputed to the walls, roof, and doors, windows. doors, windows. Likewise, our the I or the self is projected or imputed on the the aggregates, on the composition, on the aggregates.
Choji dame chugi riba tege yon choji dame tenla bab dogu yore riba yanda mamba yore.
And which is moving further to the explanation on the selflessness of phenomena. With regard to it, to understand the selflessness of phenomena through the same sort of reasoning, same reasoning which were applied with the selflessness of, which were applied to realize the selflessness of person, we can also establish, or we can also come to know the selflessness of the phenomena. There are many other sort of reasonings. There are many other sort of ultimate reasonings to establish it.
Bella ngopo tonde jule seguri jule masina yomale. Chedu jule shebriba. Ndaba korondo ngo ji imbi ju sedu koron seguri koron sewa yinane ko menane jusi to yamale yenane tene sedan yamale ndaba se to yamale.
For example, from the the reasoning of the reasoning of whether the since all the compounded phenomena, the compounded entity are composite of or are the production. Compounded phenomena are production of different causes and conditions, and compounded. They have to arise from the causes. From that sort of point, we can scrutinize the ultimate nature of the phenomena. So to do it, we should scrutinize from the viewpoint of whether the compounded entity are identical of the cause or different from the cause. And if they are identical of the cause, then they do not need to arise from the cause, because they already exist at the time of the causes. Such what you call scrutinizing, we will be able to understand the selflessness of phenomena. If the compounded, the resultant nature, if they were what you call the different, if they were different ultimately, then they were different ultimately, then even the entities which are not causes and condition relatively, which are not the causes and condition of the resultant sort of phenomena, even they would produce the result as well. And from the aspect of the third aspect, while scrutinizing whether the resultant entity, the compounded phenomena are identical or not, arises from identical causes or different sort of causes. We finish that. if we shouldn't finish two kinds of reasonings. And then for the third aspect, if the resultant compounded phenomena arose, if they arose from both identical causes and condition and different causes and condition, then it is really a contradiction. If we find that if through scrutinizing this way, if we come to the conclusion that the compounded phenomena arise from the causeless, without cause, then it is really a very sort of very inferior or very poor sort of tenet, as of one of the heretic school, because it's a very poor sort of tenet or poor sort of establishment, because even the worldlings, the ordinary worldlings, see that the results comes from the causes and conditions, and the worldlings, the ordinary worldlings, especially the humans, they would say put much effort to achieve the results through working hard in the causes and conditions, compiling or causes and conditions.
Yung drevi tole cheba tong. Julian drevi shegi ya na, jugi tu na yung na drevi yeba shegu ya, de yung na meba she. Ye na ne she na ya ma ne. Meba ne yeba she togu ya ma.
And from the viewpoint of result, from the viewpoint of that is, the earlier one is from the viewpoint of scrutinizing from the viewpoint of cause and conditions, and we can also scrutinize the phenomena, whether they are truly existent or not, from the viewpoint of the result aspect. For example, like whether the phenomena, the result arises from the cause. The result arises from the cause, which were already existed at the time of the causes, or the result arises from the causes which do not exist at the time of the causes.
Yung ji ta duma le che. Ji seng ji ripe shana ta na ma ru ripe na. Shilo na bi na. Ji ben dun chen chun dun chen zu chun te. Ka he ji yin sang bi le de. Ji ma le de cha he mon bo ye ba le su ma le ben dun chen de u su ya dun chen ju gu shu ne ko ro yi na. U ju dun chen de cha he ju ye gu ye. Che za de mon bo cha no ye. Che za ji seng hen zang zhu tu ma le. Ji me na ji mon bo sa ba le tu ma sa ba ye du mon bo ye ma le. Ji dong tu ma me za ne de ne chu tam ji me ba cha.
And from the viewpoint of oneness, from the viewpoint of one and the many, from the viewpoint of one of the oneness of the phenomena, and the many one and many, we can also establish the selflessness of phenomena, because as to establish first whether the one, what we would say conceive as one, there is no such truly existent one, because if we go inside that one, go inside that one. For example, what say the tiniest, the atom. For example, some school regard this as a truly existent, the tiniest atom. If you go inside the tiniest atom, as claimed as one, the lonely or one, Chipo, one. It's difficult. Even the atom, the tiniest atom, which is conceived as conceived as once, is not a nature. It's not a truly what you call truly one, because while constructing the form, the tiniest the tiniest the atoms, different tiniest atoms have to be gathered in order to construct the visible form, and that tiniest atom, while gathering with other, have 10 parts. It has 10 parts, the upper, lower, and at 8 directions, 4 main directions and directions. So even that tiny atom has 8 parts to touch with the atoms gathering from the 8 directions. So since we cannot find truly sort of existent one, then there is no truly existent many. So from that way as well, we will know that the phenomena does not exist ultimately.
제와 매발에 빼나 melon zunye melon do domane bi jujen chona ye mename dedo jiba simbari chesa jungse ditune de ma mebar.
Furthermore, from the viewpoint of being sort of interdependent in a relative truth, from the point of interdependent, all phenomena are interdependent. From the viewpoint of interdependent, we can also establish the phenomena as the selflessness or selflessness. For example, the reflection in the mirror, when there is a since that reflection in the mirror depends on the mirror and the person who stands in front of him, and so on. The reflex seems to be there. Reflex is there. Reflection is there. When there is no person, when the mirror is alone, no one sitting in front of the mirror, there's no sort of reflection of the person in there. Likewise, knowing that all phenomena are interdependent, depending on the different causes and conditions, and we will come to know that such the phenomena are not truly existent.
다리바 대속에는 제와 매바 동반이 도고요. 동반이 도는 내게 여보시나 디토도 교들이 저동제 동반이 인선은.
Through these kinds of sort of reasonings, one will one should first individually scrutinizes the phenomena in which we grasp them as through which we grasp them as truly existent. We will be able to have a theoretical understanding, and furthermore contemplating and establishing the very convinced understanding. Then during the sitting practice we can just place or rest our mind in that sort of understanding.
That to suna meonsumdo tuna dene danzendo nyamombateso pone pon togiyare tege nedo rachamba kepadu top togiyare pena chambado nyejeso gamna nyamombateso ngotak che togiyare memba sawa memba che togiyama sawa memba che gona dame to bi kharabe go.
So through constantly familiarizing in that convinced understanding, and when the direct realization sort of arises, when develops, that convinced understanding transforms or develops into the direct realization through familiarizing in it constantly, accordingly, then we want to have a direct realization. And through that direct realization, one will be able to uproot, eradicate, uproot the seeds of the afflictions. So, other than that, the familiarization in the loving kindness, familiarization in the compassion, or other sort of method parts of practice, the practitioners are what say can what say subdue or overcome the manifested defilements, but they cannot what say relinquish the afflictions from their root, which is in our mental stream.
Tate pento yore, te chuk nelu revesena, nelu mare, nelu sangde tandam be demba yinku. Te kanzog dembare, tope zog yobare. Pena rimbo don tung sangde pensen tune yagabare namtok. Rimbo mena tung yamare, pare mena tsuri yamare, zomo mena gamba yamare. Tesu te namtok zog yobare. Tagano ye tomba ni sangde do. 다음에 생겼대도 세와 매바 생겼대서 때는 세와는 나라서 봐래 뜨는 게 봐래 때는 가자 다음에 세와 매나 대가비 다음 매바도 세와 매바 생겼대서 주말에 제가 돼서 디리바테게 세와 매발라서 꽉고 해야 돼. 그래서 뭐님바.
And then further on, that was and further on, as for the second step, first Rinpoche points out that we need to establish the selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena. If it is asked, these selflessness are the ultimate sort of reality. If it is asked that whether these are ultimate reality of the person or the phenomena. Rinpoche says that these are not the ultimate reality, because, for example, we should know this from the example of the relative sort of the relative things, such as what's the long and short. Long and short, high and sort of low. These are in order the low or the long, in order the long to be to exist, it has to depend on the short. It has to depend on the short. Depending on the short, we would say label such is long, and depending on the long, we would say label such and such thing is short. Likewise, the non-arising emptiness, selflessness, non-arising emptiness, selflessness. These are what you call not the ultimate sort of reality. These are
Tene sewa yeba do meba ninka revesena ninka ngarwa gushi mari te rimba te gamgu chuboche tene gam.
So as for the second step, we need to establish selflessness or the non-arising and the emptiness as the non-existent as well. Non-existent as well. And then as for the further step, the third step, we need to establish both self and selflessness. There is no entity, there is no phenomena, There's another person which is the nature of both self and selflessness, both non-empty, empty and emptiness. Like we need to establish the both.
The Rimba Yibade, Nika Maimba, Nelu Revesana, Teo Mare, Teo Tune, Nika Yimba Tilutune, Yabari, Nika Maimba, Teo Nelu Mare.
And for the further step, the fourth step, we need to establish the non-both as non-both. We need to establish as the non-both. If asked that whether the non-both is the ultimate reality, it is not, because the non-both is labeled or imputed with the imputed depending on the both, depending on the both. So it is also what's called relative relative truth. Non-both is also not a ultimate reality of the phenomena.
Nelu singing the Tai Yedon Traver, Troba Tamtir Traver, Namto Gurman, Dagi Jajuman, Zugutusa Chiuman, Nelu singing.
So the ultimate reality refers to something is not good. Something refers to the nature, refers to the nature of phenomena which cannot be sort of verbally expressed, which cannot be which is beyond the object of our sort of concepts, or our the fallible, our mistaken minds, our mistaken erroneous consciousness, which cannot be sort of pointed out that this is the ultimate reality.
Didn't take a let gum Gugurusana. Nelu Trobaton Tabate, Yimba Cheva Sena. Then Zoju Tana Majeva, Diary, Yima maybe told her. Zoju Maze, Gardum Mazeva.
Maybe it is asked how the trainees, how the higher trainees should meditate, should meditate on it, should meditate on this ultimate reality. So the manner of meditating on it is to just rest, is to just without any concepts, without fabricating the mind, without fabricating one's mind, without any sort of concepts, with the understanding, with the theoretical understanding of the inexpressibility, with the inexpressibility, with the understanding of the free from the four extremes, and without the distraction, just to rest on that.
That Nibi Gandon sang it, Shugi to Zemenu them. They let away Charade. Juban Nibi Gandon. A young doctor shaking his Nibi Luke, Shamba Yeda Luke, Lame Gandon.
No, so Nibi Luke, another source. Now, which is going to going to give some explanation on the manner of undertaking this practice in accordance with the teaching, in accordance with this teaching, departing from the four attachments.
Tata Kaji tells you, John Manuki, Kalakabu, Shea Kalakabu, Gomel Kalakabu. Then David Luke said to the Mangang Gandonri, Dino Konza, Dame Gandon Sotu Yamarete, they were cheaper, pay to the Gangari. Bena Melamdu, Mingiare, Samche Mingiare. 이 집이 논에 삼제 통계로 주마가 삼제야로 어때도 지바 인성 삼제노 농그레 덴바메 대도 지바 인성 감들.
So the earlier ones are the what you call the discourses or the explanation on how to familiarize ourselves in the emptiness or selflessness for those who have a theoretical knowledge, some extent of theoretical knowledge gained from studying philosophies. In accordance with this pith instruction, the method of familiarizing in the superior wisdom for those who have faith, strong faith, and who have not studied philosophies, not studied philosophy. In this teaching, it is what's instructed, or it is explained through the pith instruction. That is to undertake the practice of superior insight through the analogies. For example, analogies of our dream. Ourselves also we dream ourselves. We dream ourselves in the dream, and all other sort of kind of phenomena as well. And even in the television, we see the person, we see the reflection, or the reflection of the people, reflection of the many kinds of phenomena in the television. So through the analogies, knowing that the dreams and the reflections are understanding of the non-existence of the dreams and the reflection of the television. From that analogy, we should try to think or reflect that.
No samsu pe gona do yare tele pe jesum bar tino malam pe malam tu chi hong yare te ni se du yamare de mamare te do tati no ani chi bare hong yare te mari ni se du yamare sam gam yare re yen to gam tene yoga no de samien sam tache yong te tu gam.
From the 8 kind of analogies, first we need to establish think that all the appearances, outer appearances, are natures of one's mind, and decisively think that the outer appearances are the nature of mind.
Then this samsu dembare vesana Teo mare se yon pe gona yada sem juman robas pe jayo tino na juma kenge chi tavye sheru tana samjenda konvanda bo tan gung gere teso nong gere de demma mare te do chi pare is gam.
And then if the thought of thinking that whether these are really nature of mind, such thought will arise in oneself, and then we should think that the mind is also not truly existent. It is like illusion, like the illusions, different kinds of illusions, the magical magics. Duma is a magic. Sorry, magic. It's like a magic, because the magics. Magic, you would say, come into appearances from the different conditions. Likewise, the mind also is made up of different conditions.
Rumba tombo te yuru zunga deme shebare. Rumba nimba te yujen sam deme du shebare.
The first order or first sequence, explained that the outer objects are non-true or non-true. Outer objects are non-true. And the second sequence, second order, establishing the mind as magic, like mind as magic, that would say establishes the mind as non-true, the subjective mind as non-true.
Da ka lu yare zena sam sar tham de lu yare ke yin nom ke sang te. Da te le from da mo ge mo ke yare mo de ba da yin sang da. Dan de ne te kar che gro san te rong ye me ba ro gro se ba sum ba. Je me rong ye me ba ro. Rong ye me ba ro la ten re dong je ra ni sung yare. Ten re de ken zo do sam de ten re yin. Dan tambana sam de je ra yin sung.
And then as for the third step, the outer appearance, inner sort of subjective aspect or subjective minds, after establishing on these all as a non-true. As for the third step, now we need to we left the mere sort of clarity of the mind, the all basis mind. Rest are all established already as non-true. And to establish that mere clarity of the mind, some school say that the Atma as a permanent, and there are many interpretations of establishing the ultimate reality of that mere reality. So, in order to as for here. We need to establish it from two aspects, from the independent aspect and the inexpressibility aspect. The independent aspect refers the relative nature of this mere clarity, and the inexpressibility is the ultimate reality of the mere clarity.
Tendre le pe je yore pe kloni ke pe tombo da. Kanan dong se pena lawan ke pena namo bodaya chena lama de namo bodaya se yore. Te lawan ke tsite lomi tsig to le pus mare te lawan ke tsite le tene lomi tsite shungari jaza tendre yin za chewa me bane.
So as with regard to the first, independent, to know the interdependent nature of our mind, the interdependent. That is being explained from 8 sort of examples. The example first, such as example of the recitation, when the teachers and the disciple. When the disciple repeat the recitation of the teacher, for example, the Namo Buddhaya, when after Namo Buddhaya, the words or the words and the sentence of the teacher's speech, even though the words or the sentence of the teacher's speech did not shift or pour, did not sort of shift to the disciple. The disciple would say makes the same sort of same recitation, so that the recitation of the disciple, that verbal statement, arise in him depending on the teacher's speech. Likewise,
Jedat sange de yur tora ngama ke batagarung ta de yurchen chane ke nyamnyung chane phawi khonza nam ge tora ngus zigi yore te ndere se ke thogi yomare te pege thone khere pena yanu geba nong ge se pugu chunchung khatwa me ke gebi kable Koli Junsen ji yore de yet to gemare. O tende yensum.
And with regard to the inexpressibility, the inexpressibility is of the object actually. Inexpressibility of the object. It's already, I think, Rinpoche has explained. Now the inexpressibility of the subjective mind. This inexpressibility is actually the inexpressibility is actually what's realized by in the meditative equipoise by the Aryas. It cannot be what you call, but it can be known. The manner of the nature or the definition of inexpressibility can be known from the example of the infant smiling. When the small baby smiles, there is a reason in him. There is a reason to smile, but he cannot express the reason. He cannot express the reason. Likewise, the ultimate reality, the inexpressibility, is like that.
Kaya ge de pe ge dong to tu ma le su ne den song yo le. Yena yong de pe yong de riba chong be do gu gres. Yen ta pie yo ma le song yo. Yena yong pe go ne dong to tu gre. Der ma ze song je chong den de ka le den ne dong to go ge yo le song. Ken je rong de chim ke cha song.
And some schools say that, some scholars say that from the analogies there is no way to establish the knowledge of emptiness. The knowledge of emptiness has to be sort of established or gained, has to be produced within the practitioners from reasonings alone. But the Sakya, one of the Rongten Chenpo, one of the great Sakya scholars, he said that there is a way to realize, there is a way to produce the understanding of emptiness from the analogies. Not only that, the understanding of emptiness can also be established from the direct sutra, the Buddha's direct teaching.
Tawa gamsa du mo manam se, tane pa long selun do senten long chu kar thong chuna, teso me yin do no juwan ta wo yin sam go yo.
And then after between the meditation session, it means that during the off session, we being mindful. Out of the mindfulness, we should train ourselves in thinking in the thoughts that whatever appears is like a nature of, is like an illusion, is like a magic, and so on.
Yang is a lovely tone. Tele ni ma chu ge chu chen ni ye je cha do che. Tele ten ni chelo ne me mo mo.
Rinpoche is so delighted that as made announcement of this teaching, many people have gathered here from far away and have studied very well the teaching. And he is very thankful to all of you.
He
is also thankful to the translators and the staffs of the IBA who have made all the arrangements. And Rinpoche also want to express heartfelt thanks to the the campus from different Indian different kshetras situated in India, as well as to those the monk students for them.
네 kshet라 그게 교주르고면도 되네 kshet라 캠보동 개개 넘버에 합주 넘버에 jan 림보게 초천이 넘버때 템비 샤워리 세부 톰비 샤워리 때 예수 예롱이 때마에 두지 체크기 되네 가격을 될라가데 가고요 변화 개개 넘버 캠보 넘버 개좀 소중 제거야 될 하고요 말이 니 말을 얘기도 자리 조세 몸보 제고요 갈라 가고요 주보글레가 세바돈 라말이 디톨레드네 주순제 대원론에 로토 somebody 칼레 요레 대두지 체크기 로토 넘버용 세들이 자와 요세네 템버 투 제수 큐네 압두슈 소춤숨 이건 첨부터서 터섬는 것데 두숨지 손제 탐제 기비 람 다나롱 패바여 그래서 걔라 뭐사 첨부리 예수 예롱 휴기 되네 우선 시야대 변나 캠보디아 소소농종 세야 세바자야 대소게 되네 해양 공기열에 이 토르 다동 답이 뭐뭐 세리를 변나 소소 운휴비 타빌라마테서 대바요 보큐거리 제말 베달라마도 냠도 누르 아민자 셀에 도세 동대나 지금에 라마데 송제 인 삼바테 감은고요 대체나 주케야 편도 전부요 조조 사자변에 라바잔센산에 라멘 난줄 휴네 되나 라마데 잠비용수시 농도 용답이 또가 중세시 되네 계자 탐제 개바차 미그 지칭에 근데 야부 숭숭 연다게요 근데 농나 달라롱 공원이 뭐 누스 말에 자살라마 미그세야 돼서 추해야 반게요 내가 노게 추 챙겐게 캠보도 게겐데서요 송제도 냠바 구갑 세고 여수 말 구갑 가 투투세 만타레 투마 투바세 되네 제로 넘바레 되네 추에서 구갑세 대개용 업종랑 벤도기요. 되네 변화 카이케 뭐뭐도가 업종 제도 배사 계획도 참로 카이케 되네 배사 여부 계획도 있어. 되네 소중 제거나 되네 배사 여부 계획이야. 이렇게 하는 업종 제도 소중 참다야 되네 맞으나 양라 남마대 여부 챔바세네. 되네 니말 사슴 전에 사슴 잡잖아. 때 소중 person 네 누가빌람 여보래. 되게 배색해야래. 근데 공개하래. 어떤 데 놓는. 되게 가르쳐 그래. 되게 강원 줘야지. 내가 전부인도 배나가 나만 좀 제도 다다 강원 줘야도 그래서 놈네 쉐비 두자 말에 상상체네. 도미 쉐대 버려. 배나 라마노 그 다바 삼시산데 농게 산체 동제도 송제도 디제도 주선 영는 세고서 그래서 도메이 세가 버려. 대 농주 첨부체리. 제가 간홍 여부 주게 인가 그 간홍 여부 주게 보이나 최단 레레레 사람 체매 봐야지 말이. 대 냠는 용용지 배게와 람 첨부를 제가 간홍 줘야 돼. 히라게 첨부를 좀 세가라. 되는 배나 제바 제비가라 이나요. 보단 첨부 수반을 소속해내 바로 그만인데 근데 제가 매개와 처음으로 그래서 말이에요. 나저 그때마다 jambioni 지기 좋던 예예서 담자겨 지기 매서 담자겨 제가 얘는 뭐지 해야 되는 다 너무 누구 제가 가고 싶은 그래서 제가 제도 로종에 대 이나는 대 추스는 것이 개첨버려. 어떤데노 전에 빼나 로종 제도 캔내세네 개발 처고 그때 공가 개야 봐시고 그 섬 되네 세나 되게 저기 사람 주고 말했었는데 저대 냠는 세고기 냠는 세비체도 좀 세고기야서나 저기 사람 주 여기기야서 근데 너무 좋으니 되네 가지고요 되네 내서 뺏어는 중에 내보 연행 년까지 빼나 자가를 배게 좀 받아서 롱소 견수체네 연수돼서 되네 빼나 미케ken 인사를 선서 마대바서는 이바 전부 저기였어요 빼나가가마 뭐만 정도 동벌 정도 가서 대바면 빈도들 주다음에 받다나 대신 때마다 다음에도 주로 숨에도 여러분만 있으면 진짜 숨이 레덴지 레세버리 아까 레덴지 생기도 유저지 인서스탄 근데 정말 되게 좋은 참모사였어 근데 나걸 터서 송주세마 하다인 송주세마도 유년 뭐 희월에 저서 돼서 마성바서 사잡제고 되는 줄 쇼리 생각에 그래서 좀 말해 대 네바 전부 인송 다송로서 줄이 세바데 네바 도민 요나 인송도 배나 되나 줄이 세류 줄고 돌려 차로 운전선 라소비 네바 담에게 냐모바도 디바모 사위야 되네 되게 담비 주봉원 성게대 운주 네버리 쇼리잖아 계산 함로기 어디서 대바 쇼르지 말이 대바도 쇼 통째를 참마도 말이 너는 삼노도는 송제 주직을 롱쇼 gen쇼 인쇄될 차동 랭에서 버드 담반 매번 몸을가 이거지래 자서 때 본국에서 선비 띵 오늘 간에 제거서는 대근 추루를 무슨 송도 되게 가자 소수 절루대 냠nen세 양이 주도 공사들에 대바탕은 제국을 숨도 디데는 더 제바로 얻다네세 되네 개개에서 그 선호 통속이 제발 전부 지지 배나 흡주돼서 단단한 거는 소설 펜트 같이 시원한 선비를 전부 잡고 게도 되네 콘소 때문에 맞아봐지 콘소를 펜트 같이 그걸 샘큐 전부 제국 그 샘큐잖아 되네 다다 럽산 가동도 오종 세동 체벌 공부에 이 체벌 때가 라만남 주희미히게 체벌 두도고 해야 돼. 그래서 그 생굴 전부 세고 해야 돼. 미몽불라 몰이야다. 내가 개개인 연한다. 로두 체와 임바테서 그 중앙에서 그 시두 간에도 따도 체야 본도. 로바세 고야 연한 로바세. 내가 사람 레저야 보시 주 돼서 개점버린다. 그래서 사람이 어버스야 되겠지만 배나 시비 라카이나 미간다 로바시구나 로바시구면 그때 로바시구나 대세나 여보 내가 대대바 줘야 말까 시 투세게 내가 여보 대세도 하지 시비 라카이나 동네세 미간도 말고세 어떤데 너도 되는지 가셔야 되네 라우스는 여보 차차도 살아네 여보 세고 그래서 라우다고 공부를 휴하래 라는 세야더니 예수님을 사변게 개바슈나 요나 개고 그래 요나 남는 세고 그래서 해야 돼 좀바데 동보 중세 되는 개바 쳐주나 동보 음악 맞잖아 남는 세고 그래 해는 이 말해서 말 남는 세 사도 되는 개고 냠네 마자히나 마루마 말이지 고름 때때 여보래 되는 주만 냠네 세야 되게 참버래 다된 송배나 냠네 세는 참 대야 상경을 가고 제바도 감세야 상경 sorte 냠절노고요 배나 배네 zon살이 그래서 가우르잖아 된송 잡아놓은 많이 잡아서 랑래 감기요 디께서도 빼면서 년벌이 되는 그거요. 그래서 다다는 삶을 종자나 되게 벤투리 지만에 로종 제바도 추수맹근시고 추수매버시동의 냠는세야 되는 인도 냠는 맞아 탐에서 성교 당자 농구 되는 되는 감세야 개체물은 감세네 나는 도성 강성 여보고 tene tu no no tene tane se no mo bo chi pham du te yu den do ta ti chen ge nga yin ka ke ge ne ba yu sa men ge cha den zhou zhen gong da qiu ge
so nam de da na bang jie de jie ma nan jie ma lo zhe ba
su yuan du Simba dong gan du mo jian yan de Yawan da dao dong jie ra du Chu ju ba ke ru jiang zu yong zu Jia ba ye den ba Sur ba la zhang za lo jing ye su dong shu ju ji Xin ge dong yan la ra de Tam je jawa da ge gong wa da da ma ba mo de yan do na ye ge gen je
yin de ra je jen de wa shi ba
Hao Su nian nang da shu ba dun ju du ma wen ju na da be dong ba yan jia wa da da la ne che ba yan da dong ba no dong zhen ju dong shen ma ba ba da ba ba ye ba ba be shu ba de jia wa da da la ne che ba je che ba gu na ma me je che wa de da jia wa dong che la ya ma sam bu che la de be jia wa gu na
cha za che ba
我当这个也就用对吧？
诸君教我跟那三界是人能当落三界马cha
那么在那个东家嘛，
我们那面吧，不了。现在要说也让不行说话也给我真是。
就是把东家那个
我很代表上界让他瞧瞧也，你看他那是这。什么时候讲究了？上界这就搞了一个呢，今年把得到大家用过的。中学家，
从就是叫他到考完学就是这个，今年把得到多少年呢？这话感觉
就是在那年代把它就是了，往都不小。
这来跟到这话这话那他都到那了都说。
叫我回去接受老姐的上面这把样子，早姐姐这把前面样子。
大众嘛，你前面这个
我也给他录的，你今天这帮他的面也给拿的。
这话跟着他们去什么得到跟着他们去的。
这就是面那边去嘛，
这话跟着这话。
这些今天到晚上这样，这他边嘛去面去了。
应当能看到吧？没东西，真给真能知道是什么。说的嘛，那个是话是的话，他老着话跟别真着话，他们这那边把这把样说，都这是这大概这段他们说什么这吧那年。
嘛，搞不工作这边就大姐就那从把它扛起吧。
这他当年打工着话，有的那
这把他那马兰记的。
那那边马兰这边着话都什么是吧？
他那个那边
一面用三界是用公用根本，我什么大都能讲完了。
搞不，他那样就把人家这讲完了，他别去讲究这把工作，那我就上把这把那把，搞不工作这把这把他们这对呀，可完了，说那么一些，
Tata Shara Tenzen Namdrata Yendem Kanjem Nase Jeje Jeje Tena Denye Shena Shendra
Sanje Meja Sonjano
Sanje Seje Vana Sheva Dan Janshu Sheva Jejen Tawaraje Teta Mali Tamje Jesoya Tasam Chena Sanje Jazu Shena Jazu Dan Kawa Jazu Jejen Rabdo Sanje Yama Jazu Dagi Yawa Kunya Kanje Samba Jejen Sanje
Suna Dadun Jevaje
Sanje Yawa Tamje Kule Tsana Rabdo Kedajin Soya Mezela Loye Tabje Rabdun Jama Kawa Keje Jeje Dajan Jubaraje Kayan Kawa Dusan Sede Keje Chaje Jine Sanje Kwame Sanje Kan Teta Keje Jela Dage Tado Teta Majebe Anandra Tabje Kayan Dusan Dage Shinge Teta Duje Teta Male Chana Tamje Do Jawa Daje Shinam Kala Kayan Majin Jigen Dramana Sanje
Rama Sonjama
Nyandava Rabdo Sheta Kamba Kanje Tanta Dachevo Kadanya Tuje Tamna Kane Kondo Yenden Jebe Tomna Dan Kondo Chaba Chaba Daje Kane Gere Sanama Tolta Chaba Mewa Shara Dama Denzen Tata Chuje Tana Yanda Tamna Yansa Daje Jenyamo Tana Kondo Duje Tana Tame Rabje Jen Sambo Jebe Tama Zaba Je Chena Jaza Nambarata Simje Jazo Dane Nambarata Chena Jazo Rado Tongje Ishe Jazo Rado Cheban Jazo Nambarata Jeje Malan Jazo Yanso Zobraje Sanje Jazo Rado Cheche Kaba Jazo Kayan Jazo Chebe Jawaye Chanche Chebe Malan Chetan Sambo Chebe Chancho Sanje Tegan Babe Yawa Kanje Seje Towa Ba Kanje Mine Kondo Sanje Keba Tetan Samboraje Yawan Jaza Tamje Rado Ma Beta Mata Yeja Namda Cheba Namda Shina Mawa Sambo Cheba Chanda Wa Chanda Jana Teta Samboraje Kone Yawa Sambo Chevaraje Mawa Gaba Ganda Mejawa Te Chawa Male Zobraje Cheba Tane Tseya Majuraje Yana Janse Sam Cheba Seme Bala Nene Jan Teta Choba Tamje Zawa Nge Tata Cheba Chizan Simje Male Tanya Chizana Tanya Mata Cheba Taje Mala Tanya Tezan Kaya Cheche Shana Taya Jen Jen De Lada Me Deva Chana Shinje Denya Kaba Mbo Kanje Moe Jawa
Choncho Choki Jezara Menjela
Kanje Tanya Deva Jeva Nasana Dambe Choto Jejo Kanje Sanche Mama Nenya San Damje Mama Tenya Robo Nyemba Mama Taya Tenya Tenya Teta Nyeba Ramye Mise Niraya Teta Lewa Mando Sambo Teta Rembo Mendo Deshinjo Samya Mabo Dage Dikwana Kanje Mishiya Teya Sambo Jeva Dejana Nyeto Male Yonso Chamara Ishe Tanya Sudan Teta Kato Nanda Dembara Teta Made Mangbe Jitan Sambo Kana Shebra Ishe Shima Tundo Tenyo Samya Sanjaya Sanje Kala Rabdo Godina Dedan Jeba Tamje Aya Sambo Jebe Malamade Changwa Deya Nambara Mema Sanje Sanje Jala Samye Mache Jemba Pawe Kando Sambo Deya Deshen Dela Kanje Jesa Dalab Gewa Dela Tamje Rabdo Dusun Jebe Mawa Kana Jodo Ngawa De Dagi Gewe Zawa Dekan Sambo Jeje Rabdo Dane Cheye Deje Girvana Jeba Tamje Dane Chizar Masana Vanta Deva Jenje Jende Rabda Desana Ne Malan Deda Tamje Maliu Mando Deda Maliu Daje Yansaka Jiden Jise Simche Pembrade Yama Dama Kindo Zelaje Nomanda Yana Dage Noga Radona Prova Mambo Java Toja Loya Toja Chujo Namsaya Sanjana La Pemba Mambo Jazambo Jaba Mala Temba Java Chonsa Lage Chisava Dinendo Emano Gavano Kechi Chike Tamje Java Shokaya Sambo Java Dinebe Sanandaya Damba Gondo Dendo Adama Java Jana Vamebe Naratova Jamala Java Dada Jagazo Dayando Mala Penje Kondo Sambo Jami Yendo Deno Namale Dambara Sho Nidrajiga Sana Pameje Nyawa Yeda Dunrola Yana Bada Ponje Java Jembe Jadun Dojo Sho Bimi Shadan Bishan Jamare Mabas,
Rovan Zanzava Gaden
Yuva de la Chazalo, Sanjay Kumar, Sala Medin, Jazamba Namaya, Nindu Namla Chazalo, Nindola Mendoze, Torelan, Shimeva Tenge, Sanju Sama Chazalo, Sanjay Wando Kirvana, Sanjay Janga Jene, Zodaje, Dajavaje, Dala Nambas, Sanazan Javad, Daje Kanjan Savan, Daje Chanju. 学学大街行那走，三街七八康清话，三街金宝一让我天老大年，别怕他们街小不来街，三南跟那一让我，三街跟那桥杂路大年一时。 学学大街行那走，三学到老年包一，进去金宝进去就三街几宝，学当宝三街行，别当街别别点呢，所学跟那面来，学学跟老，金马金宝那一年东华新街大街，可把金宝三年走，学点在。 一边南到金源，西边等着，青蛙关节进大了，关节进。新边天马的结巴了，三街南面面面子，新边南拉成都，西边走。左边三街刚学的，刚到跌打马进，跌打结束。结巴把这进这走进，这新边的，我学这我俺见的，南面进去的就马街把他。 马街马街年马街，脑袋马街俺马街，东北军。三街那种金宝的，新边马街走马街，空山马街走马街，东马街。现在给他金宝也我包干拉，明天把新边干拉没来，现在马街讲到有我把马街呗，大街浪街两头，我把当街呢。 今天把这金子就今天这天见面，昨天那不了，我是没别昨天把这金子就三年了，农街看不了明天金子把这马街别这边把这金，今天咱们来了马街，大咱天边，今天把这金子就今晚特别定真，把我们这边，不是特别定真，今天把这金，咱把特别不是咱第三年把年。 三个三街八也起来把这青草线三街跟进，我当时先把那进去三百进去，先三把走进去，再打这把进去。我这进这走进来走去不拉多呢。
这些这的建筑开的这个往就开这有的上不也外东西什么世界用也能够，我如果老板的说完的你。 帮助对外用的所有的协话，将就看见小的联合，我今天我东那边我中央的，他的从3个人被召集，对本身我激动几家拉线的罗萨瓦南的，松嘎天主南的大概这就那么我也得接公布去吧啦呢，现在就那些话，也为天把人们接的，接到把这话去为路去嘛，没把创造，他的新结吧，当杨贵水看见老原在上不错，过去下边大家等会用技能，那么些是土地阶段的，慢慢根据这个的差不多，马上公布写的准备。 담배 추지 걸로 요청 표현을 제발 출한디 내를 아래 지가산 제시 뜻다도 추지 걸로 윤체만 보고서 수제다 공문 사제 주세요 체체
네, 현바 이라데 되게 예전 뭐 sonde de yun chumbi donde hui. De yun chumbi kun ko sai mo dewa. Tene chi chijaga nonde tingo chenzer mo chi kun na ni hu. Khenchen sonde jangana mo chi kun na ni hu.
Rinpoche received the lineage teaching of departing from the four attachment. The commentary by the elucidation on this teaching by Jitsun Rinpoche Thakpa Gyaltsen from Deshun Chömpel. He received the lineage of it from Deshun Chömpel, and another lineage of this teaching from Tilku Khenchen Rinpoche, and the commentary composed by Khenchen Koramba from our most Reverend His Holiness Sakya Tenzin. Panden lame tuji chema don chume dishin nyeje demba dagi lasan ambara tabi chidara sowa dagi dembe dabo panden sajava gongre chadon dishin chodoro kole joja gonga jan sambe shadye peme rashi shobye lama chida bende Ramanja Jisan Jambaya Javani Baba Sajabe Dambaya Nebe Tashi Cho Ramjama Chechu Javatan Sansan Chido Dube Tochi Chan Java Nanda Kungasam Dambaya Nebe Tashi Cho Panten Saja Chuchu Chota Yusa Leche Jaso Tarji Chuchu Lagan Sebe Dede Tongchire Chibe Tashi Sho Mabang Chuchi Lama Yaruni Rebe Awanchu Mabang Sambo Tene Zimbe Zujin Zungkaru Temba Laryan Jebe Jebe Jasala Jaya Sajabe Tatu Chume Sanjaya Mar Ega Lambe Legane Karaman Chirema Chaja Marve Tashi Kanji Shabsen Yela Danzamde Chena Dule Jebe Bayan Temba Juju Jebe Tashi Temba Jiten Kamso Chemba Temba Niwe Chentosa Temba Bola Jenda Temba Yu Temba Yu Nebe Tashi